Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Back Yourself podcast. Hussein is here, as always, on a Tuesday evening, ready to debut the first segment of the year of Ins and Outs, which is hilarious. Welcome back, Christopher. Obviously, you had a day to rest up, reflect on round one. That's done and dusted. It's out of the way.
Round one's done.
We're on to bigger and better underdogs in week 2, I want to say. But how brave will we be?
Who?
Cockadoodle? No way.
We might. Where are they? Oh, they're here.
Maybe if they doubled the spread, you might take them. Even
40.
then, maybe not.
Nah, Penrith can't get to 40.
They can't score.
No.
Well, we'll see about that. But I guess
We could just...
we could just go straight into Thursday night football.
Well,
Is there any reason to beat around the bush?
No.
Oh,
No.
before we go into things, not that we're publicly,
Traded company.
giving a shit about the news in the NRL, but this was unprecedented, so I want to get your thoughts just quickly. 2 minutes review of Dillback's $12 million for 13 million dollars for 10 years. Did Newcastle essentially mess it up by grabbing him?
Yes and no.
Okay.
No, if they keep Kalen.
Well, they will keep. Let's assuming they keep Kalen. Do you like the move, or do you?
Then
hate
I
the
think
move?
they've done the right thing.
Fair enough. Okay.
I think everyone is consensus they paid too much. Sure, I agree with that. Fine. They paid maybe a bit more, 1 mil, well, maybe 10 mil, 10 years. I would have been all right with it. But literally, who else is there? Who's left?
Yeah.
I mean, what other half are you going to get these days? Are you going to expect Galvin to go to Knights? Are you going to expect Sam Walker to leave Roosters and go to Knights?
Off an ACL injury.
All right. And then once Hughes comes back, what is he going to... If Hughes gets on the open market, he literally now deserves like 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And what, Knights are going to pay that?
And he's not going to go to Knights anyway because he likes
Exactly. Half of these teams are not going to... Like, half of these players don't even want to go to Knights. So the fact he said yes is huge.
I guess part of that is... Okay, if we want Cunts to come to Knights, we have to pay 1.3.
Exactly.
Would he stay up? If they're going to give him 1 million, I'm pretty sure Para would have given him that anyway.
No.
And
yeah.
I think Knights are the lone club that would have swung for giving him the 10 years. I think that's probably where.
Yeah,
people
I don't think they would have. No other club would have
are you
given him
guys
10
doing?
years.
But look, Dillbag's in isolation as a player. Can you justify giving 1.3 to what I would perceive to be a elite ball running 5'8" is what he is.
Yeah.
But I think they've signed him with intention of giving him the 7. I didn't realize Dillbacks is only 24.
Yeah, so he's going to...
So will he develop into a point where he can be your primary kicker, game manager, ball runner? He can essentially wear all of those hats. If he can, I don't really hate it for Newcastle. I think Dillbacks is a bit overhated, and we'll see what happens. But at least it gives Kalen some hope that he's not there by himself.
Well, I think a lot of this is just keep Kalen around, right?
Yeah.
I think if they
Make
didn't
him
do
happy.
this, make him happy. Who does he have? The last,
Bradman and Nagai.
And Gagai's going to retire, so it's just going to be Bradman. But I can imagine that left edge being absolutely deadly. But look, Knights did what they needed to do. In my opinion, I don't think they did anything too wrong. Obviously, they're going to get a lot of backlash for how much they paid, but you're going to Newcastle. Yeah, it's like when you go to Canberra, you're going to have to pay a lot. Canberra just has to pay more. It's a tax that you have to pay to get these players there.
Yeah. And speaking of Newcastle, we move on to Thursday night football, where the Newcastle Knights return to the Fortress McDonald Jones Stadium to take on the Redcliffe Dolphins, coming off their piss week loss to the South Sydney Rabbitohs last week. Do we have any changes? So from Newcastle side, I'm pretty sure they're running out the same losers that won.
I think it's only on the Dolphins
But
side.
Adam Elliott comes onto the bench.
Okay, whatever.
Which is one of the Back-Yourself favourites. On the Dolphin side, Fini Fuiaki is out with head knock, and Keeley comes into the back row, which apparently I've heard he's improved. He's pretty decent. Up-and-coming back row. Shout out to you, Matt. And also Nichols comes onto the bench, and Codeine comes in
Nichols is back,
to the 5'8" position.
And of course, Nicarima comes in.
Yeah, so we spread of 4.5. Obviously, we had 7 of the 8 favourites win last week. Is this one of the games that you could potentially sound the alarm for?
Yeah, of course. I think this is the game. Dolphins, look, set last week aside, they did look better than South in a scenario that there were probably a lot of them thinking about their families trying to get home. and they were going home. What I didn't know is that they were going home the next day, which I think would have swayed on my thought process, because knowing that they're still going to go home, face the Cyclone and stuff, like, who's in the headspace to go beat South?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a very different scenario to what I was saying, that they're not going to go home until a couple days later. So they went home literally straight away. So, I mean, well, it makes sense that they lost to South.
I'm telling you, that last 10 minutes after South scored, these guys were already like, you can just call full time, we'll go home now. Fuck this.
That's what it is. And look, now that that's all out the window, Dolphins are better than Knights. So, yeah, I'm going to put upset alert Dolphins. Knights are not that good of a team. They didn't show anything in round one when they were full strength against a Tigers side, which we talked about in the review, that a Tigers side that didn't have two of their players in their spine. And you said today, the second thing you said about lineups was, oh my God, Tigers actually look good. And I'm just saying, like, if this was last week, you would have been like, yeah, Knights not going to beat this team. So, in my opinion, Knights didn't prove that much last week. Yeah, they played shit. Yeah, they can play better. Do I think they're going to do it against a Dolphins side who's going to get on top of them in the forwards, have great outside backs to cover, players like Best and Nagai? Sure. Is Kalen going to get through and just run away? No. Dolphins have great speed. This is a great matchup for Dolphins. Upset alert for sure. This Dolphins team is going to win this game.
And just to add fuel to the Dolphins' fire, if everyone remembers the final game of the regular season of last year, it was a win and get in situation where the Dolphins went to this exact same stadium and lost, I would say somewhat handily. Knights were kind of in control of that game the whole year, but I'm sure they have revenge on their mind in addition to getting their first win of the season. Is the game priced right? More or less, yeah.
Have to be.
I think when this was minus 2.5 for Knights, I was like, well, these guys literally lost the Souths. Can you put them that short that essentially, like, okay, put it this way. The books had Dolphins as wooden spoon favourites.
Yeah.
And to put them 2.5 after losing to Souths in Newcastle, that's saying that they're like equivalent of each other. And Knights were not near the wooden spoon.
No, they weren't.
In the odds. So that made no sense to me. But now at 4.5...
Actually, they were.
Yeah, but like...
Not anymore.
I think they've been not as short as Dolphins, or like they were...
No, the Knights were like $7 at one point. So Dolphins was 6. Obviously now everything's flipped for one particular team. Wherever they are, there they are. But we'll get to them. But yeah, I get your point. Like I think you have to put it 4.
It was a little short, basically.
But I don't think 4 is right anyway.
But 4... Will this get to 6? I don't think so. Knights aren't that good. But the perception around Dolphins is like no one is giving these guys any freaking...
I think they need a few wins.
Any love at all.
I think they need a few wins. And then everyone will be like, okay, these guys are all right.
The question for us is this a point where they're going to start racking up a couple of wins and making us look good in terms of us being on them quite early in the season? We'll have to see. I actually have I think when I was looking at the entire round slate, I have an overarching philosophy for the NRL in 2025, as opposed to, oh, this team's a little bit better than that team. You know how you previously on the review said, I'm not taking any of these losers against the top teams.
Yeah.
That, like, when they're 8.5, 6.5, this is not enough. They're going to get killed.
Yeah.
I agree with you to a certain extent. And what we saw from round one was taking the points with the losers means nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
But what we also saw, and not that all of them covered, but taking the points...
When losers play each other?
When the losers play each other, like, these games are all very close. The only one that didn't play out was Warriors, and that's why I put them in their own category of putridness.
Yeah.
Right? If you, like, the early line we got on the Dolphins of the 4.5 plus against South in the markets open, would have won. If you took plus 2.5 with Tigers, it won. If you
8.5 to Dragons.
If you took plus 2.5 on Sharks, it was covering for 76 minutes until Penrith.
Well, you could have got 6 on that game as well,
which would have won.
Yeah.
Right. So these are all like one possession sort of games that I feel much more like getting on plus 4.5 is useful than getting on plus 10.5 with some loser that's just going to lose by 50 anyway. So
this week's going to be a huge tell, right?
If we're saying that Dolphins and Knights are pretty comparable for each other, why would you then go and lay 4.5 when there's every chance in the world that Knights go and win this by 2 as well? Like they
could easily do that.
So I'll go with you in this one, mate. Fins up, let's go. Come on, Dolphins, make us look good in this one.
Go the Fins.
The season can get pretty ugly pretty quickly if Fins go and lose this one as well. I reckon they're very irregular for a win.
It's irregular that they're going to go start 0-2, but again, based on what I've seen from round one, anyone can beat anyone as long as they're not playing the top six. And even six to a caveat. Like, if Dolphins are red hot playing Dogs, you're going to be like, well...
Nah.
Yeah, I still think you will lean Dogs, but Dogs probably will be favourite in those games. But I don't think Dogs are not going to be like the top five, that they're going to sweep every single team below them.
I think the difference is, I actually kind of disagree with you because of how consistent Dogs are. The difference is, if you get plus 8.5 against Dogs or plus 10, then that actually means something.
Yeah.
But if you get plus 8.5 against Manly, I don't think that means
because
like the Dogs' potential to blow sides out by 50 is not as high. But
yeah.
I also think they're not as susceptible to putting in a shit performance like Manly or something would go and mess it up for no reason.
Correct. Speaking of messing it up.
Speaking of Manly, moving on to our first game in New Zealand, the Fortress, where the Warriors were 0-50 against the spread last season. And as far as team list goes, essentially no difference. Taukeaho's out for Manly, and one of the pod favourites, Aloy, is back.
Oh, Halasima is on the bench.
Halasima is also on the bench, as he was last week.
No, I swear.
No, Halasima was there last week.
Oh, was
Remember when he subbed on and changed the game?
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't know.
Where do you even begin with the Wars?
Do you start with Wars?
Do they come back to New Zealand and fire up, or do they go and give up yet again? Or are they even capable of doing anything with this spine that Andrew Webster has essentially dug his heels in and said, I'll defend them. They're not that bad.
This is the ultimatum. What's the spread now? 8?
9.
Jeez. Okay. Still, it still applies. I'll give Warriors 20 points. That's generous. Anyone that's on the podcast, anyone that's sitting there and going, oh, bro, I don't think
you
Warriors
give him plus 20.
I'll give him 20. I'll give him... No. I would say give him a 20... Like, if you tell me at the end of the game Warriors scored 20, I'd be like, okay. Hey, you're telling me Manly are not going to score 30? Like,
I mean, boil it down that way.
If you boil it down to that, Warriors need to score at minimum 20 points. And can they score 20 points with making no changes to the same spine? I don't think they can.
Yeah.
And Manly's defense isn't like, they're, throughout this world. But Warriors, the issue with Warriors is they will feel awful once Manly start putting points on the board. Like, when they go 12-0 down, what's the chance of Warriors going to score the next try? Even if they do, Manly could just get another possession try straight away. And I don't think Warriors have that. So, again, playing the top 5 is just the write-off, in my opinion. There's no way I'm laying anything with Warriors. Because, maybe a 10, because I can see them score, 18 points because it's Manly, and they're not at Brookvale. Yeah. But
then again, you can't even see them scoring less than 30. So would you take 10?
Nah.
Based on your own rationale,
10's a lot.
Yeah, but based on your analysis,
I get it.
why would you even take 10?
I get it. But I can maybe Manly don't score 30. Maybe they score 28. Who knows? But I think scratch in Manly 30 points. Can Warriors get to 20? Toss the coin. I think even if you haven't got the spread at 4, which you have, I think just sit there and take whatever total points overs looks better. I would say the Warriors won. Simply because if they're going to go out there and score 8 again, sure, whatever.
Yeah, but why would you want to bet on the Warriors' attack?
Because you're going to get a better odds on that.
I'd be more inclined of trying to take their defense.
You can't defend this team.
Okay.
They couldn't even defend Raiders.
Well, then why would you even want to take 10.5? Outside of just, that's probably the right thing to do.
Because at some point it's going to be the right side.
Yeah, but clearly at 10 it's not, based on what you're saying. You're saying Manly, they might score 28. I don't think Warriors can get past 6 points, but I'll take 10.5. Why would you?
What is Warriors team total? I'll love to see it. 14?
Not as fucking, probably too high, even if we've...
But it's Manly.
Okay.
They don't even try to defend.
In full transparency for the pod viewers, while I think at the point that Manly were up 12-0, I bet Manly the following week minus 4.5. Because I was like, is that it? After... Who scored the second try? Saab's one? I was like, yeah. And essentially I took it because you have a top 3 attack in the league and facing a bottom 2 attack in the league. Bottom, yeah. They're
awful.
I can't even think of who's worse attacking wise than these guys.
No one. No, they're the worst.
Yeah. Tigers looked pretty bad, but they were missing
troops.
Have hope, right?
Missing troops.
For Warriors to run it back with Harris, Savita and Chanzi and... these guys are just despicable with the ball in hand.
Aaron Clark starts.
What you will get out of Warriors in this game...
It's a bit of heart.
...is a lot of heart. I don't think they're the type of guys that would come back and roll over, but I don't shout out to Bonzi who thinks Warriors are going to fire up and win. I don't see... Warriors are the one team from round one where I'm like, there's actually no overnight fix for these guys.
No, it's going to be rounds.
If Webster's committed and dug his heels in that, I'm going to pick the same 17. There's nothing in my mind that would suggest that all of a sudden Harris David is going to learn how to attract defenders before he passes the ball. Metcalf's going to learn how to game manage with the 7 on his back and develop Nathan Cleary's kicking game. Nick Chanzi's going to be able to do anything. So...
Bro... Actually, fuck it. Manly -9.
Yeah.
They conceded 30 to Raiders.
I know.
I just realised.
I know. Manly's
going to concede?
That was my whole point, that I took Warriors in that opener because I thought these guys can at least defend. They couldn't even defend Raiders.
Yeah.
Now you want them to go defend Manly. Fuck that.
Manly is a different beast outside of rookie. So, like, if Manly win by 6 or something...
Yeah.
Like...
Wouldn't shock me.
I would be like, all right, good job, Warriors. But... if they go win by like 20 again, I'll be like, this guy needs to change something. We said after week 1, this guy needs to change something. So I think now...
If Warriors were 9.5 and they had Roger at fullback and Tanner Boyd at 7, I probably would take it.
I would take them. I think that would be new
Knowing
life and they'll try.
Manly are going to go and play like idiots next week, and you're getting essentially 5 points of value because even after Warriors looked god-awful, it was 4.5 before the Raiders game, it was 4.5 after the Raiders game. So the 5-point shift is literally down to nothing else except Manly looking possessed against Cowboys, right? So you're getting 5 points off a Cowboys quit job. But in my mind, like, what can I see from Warriors that in the preseason we said, these guys have the worst spine in the league. Week 1, they score 1 try to Raiders, and now they're not even getting double-digit points against Manly. I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. They can't. I don't think their defense was on show against Raiders. So, like, if they can't defend, this is going to be a long day for New Zealand.
And even in particular, like, their outside backs are just shit defenders.
I don't know how Metcalf is going to, like, defend anything.
Metcalf's going to have Hamoli running at him, and then next to Metcalf you have
They don't even fast.
They're not even fast. Yeah, they're just shit. We'll see.
It's a wrong team to play.
If the Wars have that much heart, then maybe they can keep this close. But
support them.
In my mind,
bring them home.
There's no reason for these guys to come.
They're going to get absolutely killed.
Yes. Speaking of getting absolutely killed, shout out to you, Bunzi and JMaz.
Do you want shout out?
Officially, we have. You thought the power spread was big. We have our biggest spread of the season
already.
Cock-a-doodle-doo indeed. 21.5 against Penrith. Not a blue bet at Bank West.
Get your phone out. I need to see the ins and outs.
I can't even
You got to start pronouncing new names.
I can't even say the name of half these Roosters players, but that's obviously accounted for on the point spread. Seeing your first, I thought at least by maybe Souths by week 6 would be 20 to someone, but this is even beyond that. So Panthers, Casey McLean passed his head knock. He's playing wing. To'o is back on the wing as well, so he can smash the existence of Roosters.
Fair enough.
It's the same dicks outside of that. Garner onto the bench and some loser. Patea comes off into the reserves. Sure. That's largely,
not part of the side I care about.
Largely irrelevant. Roosters, same 1 to 7. Victor Radley is buried. Wong into the back row. Feketi at lock with Makatoa from Parramatta.
Who was playing lock last week?
Wong. So Wong's into the back row for Radley.
Yep.
Feketi's from the bench into the lock position. Makatoa's here from Parramatta to come save these guys.
Well, he does know the stadium. And
Lasalu's coming on as well to drop the ball again. Also, shout out to Billy Smith, who's on the extended bench and might get a run. I don't know, maybe at front row or something. 21.5, Chris. Do you have any appetite for the mighty tricolours?
No.
Shout out to Premium, first of all, who are on minus 11.5.
I thought that was a lot. This opened at 8. You know what's funny? This is the biggest slide shift out of all of them, and Moses got ruled out in one of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right.
So from 8 to 21.
All right, look, Roosters. If it gets to 22...
That's the tipping point. No, I can't take 21.
All right. If it gets to 24, I'll take him.
Same.
Because...
Fuck Roosters, man.
Because, look, can Roosters score points?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I'm giving him 12. That's a lot. But I'm giving him 12. Will Penrith score 36 points? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And look, if Robinson wants... Look, it's not even Robinson anymore. Fuck that cunt. These young players, this is it. Like, if you guys are not going to show up, this club is going to go into the dirt. Yep. Their development is here. They're playing. They're starting. Unfortunately, it's development players. So it doesn't mean you're going to go tackle Yo, you're going to tackle Edwards and be so good. That's why you're 21 and a half. But if you guys actually show some resemblance of a performance, it shows that there is some hope at the Roosters. Right now, I don't know why they're not copying more slack. This is a club that can't sign players. They've signed Robson.
And Townsend.
Whoop-de-doo, from Cowboys, who are just as bad, right? So you're not really gaining anything. They can't sign players. They have no development. Half their team has already left. Half the other team is going to get concussed within a week. James is 32.
33, yeah.
33.
Whatever he is.
Sam Walker still isn't back, and he's the only player of youth that you have coming up. You've already got rid of Brandon Smith because you have Robson. This club is on the downturn. Jump ship as soon as possible, and now they want to go sign Mola.
I think he can save them.
I think 24, there's got to be a buyback point at some point, and 24 is it.
I think we're there already.
The only concern is that Penrith are not going to cover next week. I don't care what the spread is. They covered for week 1. All goods.
They already did their job, man.
All goods. All right, take 24 and close your eyes. If it doesn't get to that, alternate. I reckon you could get 1 to 20. What Roosters are going to win?
Okay. Unfortunately,
you want to take minus 11 and a half.
I think this is one of my best bets of the week.
Unders.
Roosters, 21 and a half.
No. We need 20.
Come on.
We need 4 tries.
Okay. Essentially,
Steep is playing.
From my perspective, anytime there's a spread above 20 points in the NRL,
they cover it.
Your whole analysis becomes, has the team getting plus 20 points quit? Will they go out there and quit? I would say it's too early for Roosters to go out and give up.
They're on your own.
If these guys with this lineup were 21 and a half in round 13, I would take minus 21 and a half because I know they'll give up. But this early in the season, and again, like I said on the review pod, I don't think Roosters' effort was what was in question last week. These guys were just the dumbest NRL team I've ever seen in my life. So if you give me that effort again, and you're not going to blue bet, thank heavens, because Penrith would actually beat them 70-0 at blue bet. You have Penrith coming back from Vegas after getting their win.
And they play a really hard... next week, they're literally going to be
They have the look ahead of the grand final rematch where Melbourne are going to want blood of these guys.
Yeah.
And we just saw what Melbourne did. So, Penrith already... why would they even give a shit about going and beating Roosters by 30?
They won.
Penrith were going out of their way to demolish Roosters in the past 4 or 5 years because Roosters were seen as a contender to them.
Yeah.
Roosters were seen as... What did they start last season as premiership favourites? At this point, they're the dirt, right? Yeah. So why would Penrith even give a shit to try and beat these guys by 50?
Think of it this way, mate. I want. This is the downfall of Roosters. Last year, I believe they were favourites against Penrith when Cleary didn't play.
Yeah, they were.
And now they're
remember, we got Roosters in round 3. This was actually on my birthday.
Yeah.
We got Roosters plus 6.5. I want to say Cleary and 4 other players.
I think Edwards didn't play either.
Edwards played Mr. Grubber and go score in the corner. Roosters closed at minus 6.5. It was like a 12-point swing, and these guys lost by 6.
Look.
On a backdoor try.
From a minus 6 to plus 21, if not more, by the time this video comes out. That is the level that they've dropped off.
Yeah, 25 points, yeah.
Penrith have become worse.
I know.
It's not like that. Look, that Cleary's playing.
No. What would this spread be if
Penrith had Luai?
If Luai and Fisher Harris were playing, you get 24.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I know on game day, I can't see one person in Australia taking the Roosters line. I'll take it. On game day, 23.5. You can't go out there in round 2 and lose by 4 converted tries.
And to your benefit, and you were saying it before, against this top 5, no one's covered yet. Against each other, yeah, obviously Sharks didn't, but against the others, no one's covered.
Yeah, well,
and it's not going to happen in the first game.
Maybe that's for a good reason, but from the Roosters side,
But this line has blown out.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if Roosters don't cover on game day 23.5, make sure you tune into the review. You're going to get one of the all-time nukes.
No. I'll give him another point. If you don't cover 24.5, it's over.
Spoon.
Yeah.
My point when I was driving here was if these cunts don't cover 21.5, they're actually going to get the win.
No, 21, I'll give him a break.
23.
If they land on 22, if they can lose by 4 converted tries,
yeah,
any Rooster supporter should burn their jersey.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
What was their preparation going into the season? What head knocking you guys are fucked?
Well, they didn't have Radley. That's why they couldn't cover 4 converted.
How can you run out there without Radley?
It's also hard without Radley. All right, moving on. Roosters, you can't really
You're
need to wake up to yourselves.
Watch.
Fucked up. They're the definition of under duress, to be honest. But I have even funnier things.
It's obviously Cowboys.
Maybe. All right, moving on to Dragons of War. Shout out to the Zerfas brothers. After their unfortunate loss, which was not really unfortunate, they just got outplayed.
I saw them yesterday. They're truly
They're
depressed.
shattered. Yeah,
They're
well,
depressed.
I'm
sorry, boys.
But it's all right. There's reinforcements coming. Blake Laurie returns from a hamstring injury.
Come on, boys.
In the place of Ryan Couchman. Wish you a speedy recovery, sir. Obviously, that ACL injury was not what the Dragons fans wanted to hear. Tyrell Sloan is on the reserves with Pacific Tonga and Dylan Egan. Who cares? Souths are running out one of the most horrific lineups in the history.
I think the most horrific backline, and that's going to be my point. But anyway, continue.
Okay, Myers is in to suspend Wyden. So the Pods got on what they want there.
The winger.
And Bailey Bentley Hape makes his NRL debut instead of Tyron Munro, which unfortunately has another collarbone injury. Lewis Dodd's on the reserves.
He can't get in.
He can't even get a run.
Which is fine. I didn't want him there anyway.
6.5 Dragons minus. Is it justified, Chris, based on them losing and Souths getting a win last week? With old Wayno at the helm.
Is that it? I would put this 8.5.
Wow.
Look. South. Look, the Dragon's strength, I said it in the review, Dragon's strength is the outside backs. And you guys have Myers there. That's the Dragon's strength. I mean, Myers, who's outside of Myers?
The rookie.
Those two have to tackle players like Sully, Val, Luciano, Sua, Tuapoloto, who's still got money raining in there, and whoever plays wing, I forget who the other winger, Vina, who's shit anyway. That's where the Dragons are great. And I said it last week, Dogs outplay Dragons through the middle. Souths can't outplay anyone through the middle of the park. That's a write-off. So Dragons get the benefit of Souths can't beat them through the middle, so they're going to have to spread it. And when they spread it, they've got their better players at the outside positions. This is just a shit matchup for Souths. They're dead.
I'll take South.
No, I would never. I wouldn't take Souths at 8.5. I literally think they're going to get pumped. Because I think this Souths team just does not match well with this team at all.
Matchup-wise, I get what you're saying. I can't really see...
How can Myers tackle Val? Is that even possible?
Well, hilariously, he's actually on Sully.
Even worse, he can't even tackle him.
Yeah. Overs. Because I know Dragons will concede to South's garbage shift as well.
Well, look, Flanagan just needs to drill into Souths. We said it last week. Just discipline, boys. Souths will literally beat themselves.
But it's Dragons.
Yeah, but they'll beat themselves.
I don't know. I can't put Dragons -6 to anybody. For what I saw from them last week. And I think it's 6 because they brought it back and cut it to a one-possession game. But in my eyes, if Dogs actually genuinely tried, they would have beaten 40 to 6. All right, say this gets
to 4, what happens?
Then I think it's Dragons.
Yeah.
Because it's Souths. Come on. I can't lay over one converted try with Dragons.
I think I can. I can lay a try and a penalty kick. I think Souths are going to get absolutely killed.
But they also have the coaching advantage. Because you're thinking of Souths of last year of running out Demetrio.
The advantage with coaches is... We're not talking about... Flanagan's a good coach.
No, I understand. But as despicable as Souths are in the middle, at least they have fucking Cody
And
Walker.
you know who wants blood? Ilias, mate. He wants blood.
Yeah, that's not a player I'm scared of. He's
mate.
shit as well. Damien Cook, he's just a revenge game. All right, Dragons line. Fuck it. This is probably one of the harder games to tip in my...
I don't think tipping. I think everyone's going to tip Dragons.
Like spread-wise, because you can't tip Souths again to go and win. So that's out of the equation, right? So then we're talking, do you take 6.5 with them? Without what? What would you take if this was 4.5 and Wyden and...
I would take Dragons.
Why?
Because...
Then your whole argument of
yeah, but look, Wyden, he was good last week, but bro, even him tackling Sully is going to be a problem. This is not... Okay, Wyden even now is a great defender on the typical centre. Sully is not a typical centre. He looks like a front rower.
Yeah.
And
Why didn't pump him though?
Wyden will give him a good fight, but then he has to tackle him, and then here comes big Luciano Leilua, which size-wise, South are just not up to par at all.
You've convinced me. Souths are dead.
Yeah. Look, I think Overs is in jeopardy. I think Giuseppe, shout out to him. I think he's taken under 50. I'm like, is that it?
I know.
It's going to go over.
It's an enormous total.
Yeah, it's going to go overs. I just think like Dragons are going to concede and score 30 on their own. So
Souths after last week's heroics going to go concede 30 to Dragons.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. There was nothing heroic about last week. Dolphins just were worried about a cyclone.
I can't even imagine like what Myers' edge is going to look like. That's just shit.
They can't do shit. And Sua always wants blood against them. The only thing you can argue for South is they want revenge for Charity Shield, but I don't even think they give a shit. So, I just think Dragons are just going to absolutely murder them. All aspects of the park, they have revenge. Even the middle of the park, you could argue Dragons will win it. And they're awful. At least they have Cook. They have Kepi.
Wow, Souths. I'm getting flashbacks to them making 10 metres ahead in the Dolphins game.
Yeah.
They're so bad.
And Dragons have those periods that they do fire up. These guys are literally going to get 10 metres ahead. It's just up to Dragons to be disciplined. And look, I trust Flanagan to keep them disciplined. So I'm going to take Dragons and go to war with them.
I don't do this often, but I'll defer to you. Dragons. If you guys can't beat Souths by margin, then that's really concerning.
I agree.
All right, moving forward to one of the back yourself fixtures. Obviously, we have favourite players, but this is one of the back yourself fixtures.
My fixture, really.
The Cowboys hosting the Sharkies, who have had a couple of weeks rest coming back from Vegas after their narrow loss to the Penrith Panthers. Obviously, the Cowboys looked like the dirt of the sport last week and proved our wooden spoon take to be live because they were absolutely horrible. But it's all right. They also have reinforcements.
Do they?
They've decided that the biggest issue of last week and the biggest liability in the back row position, Jeremiah Nanai,
dumbest thing I've ever seen,
has been dropped for Kai O'Donnell. I don't understand how you would keep Bateman over Nanai, but all right, Todd Payton, you know better than me. And Jason Tamalolo returns from his Liz Frank injury in the reserves. Maybe he will play, maybe he will not play.
So he's injured?
He had a Liz Frank injury, yes. Because, like I said, if Tamalolo had one amputated leg, I would still pick him over Harrison Edwards.
Fair enough.
So I think Todd Payton would also do that if it were up to him. Sharks running out 1-17, same garbage every single game with these guys. Now we also saw the spread open at 4.5 out to 9.5 on the back of Cowboys looking like the dirt of the sport. Some would argue that Townsville is a bit of a fortress, and I feel like of the 9-point underdog imbecile teams, Warriors, almost Souths, Cowboys. Cowboys are the team that, from who I've spoken to, it seems like the public have a little bit more faith in them to go home and bounce back. Is there any hope for these guys, Chris?
Cowboys going to lose by 1, aren't they? Look, do I want to lay 9? No.
Is 9 the right side?
Is 9 the right side? Probably. But it's thinking of a Super Saturday. First of all, I think the world is going to be on South. They won last week, bro. They're 8.5-point dogs. It's Dragons.
Yeah.
The world is going to be on Sharks.
Is it?
But it sounds like they're not. And if it's not the world and there's actually pushback on Cowboys, they're going to fucking lose by 1. And I can't tip any... I think spread-wise, it's going to get into a conversation when there are big spreads like this, but I will not tip anyone against the top 5. I think I'll tip the top 5 no matter what until they lose, to be honest. Unless they play each other, I'm just going to keep tipping the top 5 because they're just head and shoulders above everyone else. Cronulla does have a lot to prove because you did lose last week. You are not with them like the other 4 or 1, so you have to catch up. Will they catch up? Look, I think a lot of people... there was a few people talking to me today now saying, actually, yeah, Cronulla did look good and they don't have any origin players. They could win the minor premiership. I'm like, yeah, thanks, guys. Idiots. because they're going to play 24 games with the same team. In saying that, the middle of the park last week for Dolphins, for Cowboys, they didn't win it against Manly. I can't see them even having a slight hope against Sharks.
All right, let me tell you something.
And their backline is truly abysmal.
Yeah.
So, fuck it. Just take -9.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I mean, every team is so bad. I want to make an argument for Cowboys, but I know it's the wrong side.
Same, yeah.
You cannot be only 9.
I know, yeah.
Is that it?
The matchup argument you're using for Dragons, I'm using it in this game.
Yeah, because their backline's fucked.
Sharks, one thing they do insanely well is their backline shifts are very, very crisp. And they have no issue getting around teams that have outside backs that make horrible decisions. And what are you going to get from Vilea and Burns and Taulagi, Scott? You're going to get horrible, horrible decision making. And I think, literally, if I could pick 2 teams that could expose Cowboys and make them look like fucking dirt bags, it's Manly and Sharks, and that's their opening 2 games of the season.
Well, the play that they did last week with Lehigh going to jump, just do that for Ronaldo.
Yeah,
you literally score every time.
That's one avenue. Avenue 2 is just give it to Fanua Blake. Literally carried Isaiah Yeo onto the try line. You tell me he can't do it to fucking McIntyre? Cowboys.
They might fire up.
I know they will. That's the only reason I'll be reluctant to lay 9.5 is because I know these guys are going to fire up.
They will try. I think they're going to be the closest, but they might lose by 12. Or they might lose by 1. I think they lose, but I don't know about how much.
I think this game completely lies in the hands of Cronulla. If Cronulla want to go there and win by 30, they'll go and win by 30.
That's for next week. I'm like 99% sure they play South.
That's fine.
They're going to win.
Are equivalent of a bye, running out Myers, so that's okay. But I'm talking specifically about Cowboys. That you came onto the pod, and I did the same, thinking, all right, what argument can I make that 9.5 is a good bet to take with Cowboys? And we can't. And for that reason, even acknowledging that Cowboys, they won't go home and give up. They always try in Townsville, and I know what effort I'm going to get out of them. But what I'm saying is, they can give effort and still lose by 30 against Sharks, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Better Cowboys teams have gone and gotten raped by this Sharks team without Fanua Blake by 30 every time. Last year was 42-6 at Shark Park. They followed that up in Townsville and quit. They beat the Sharks when they had nothing. They ran out with no one. In the finals, they were down 24-0 to them again.
They always lose.
Jason's 250th. They lost by 50, giving Hamlin ULA and Hazelton
and
Jack Williams tries. And now you're taking Fanua Blake there. You're going to give me 8.5 with these losers. This is the dilemma I'm in as a punter, where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be on the team that fucking lost by 50 and not on the team that wins by 50. But what we've seen is the round 1 spreads was so wrong that the bookies can't actually fix it in 1 week.
Well, look,
try me again, where by week 6, Sharks would be 13.5 in Townsville. Then I'd be like, oh, okay,
interested.
Maybe I'll take these losers.
Quick check. You don't have the app on your phone? I really want to get my phone because it's Tuesday and ideally we get week 3 lines. I just want to see what that Cowboys spread is against Brisbane.
Well, the 9.5. I can probably guess it for you. The 9.5 at Townsville to Sharks. Broncos would be perceived 3 point better than Sharks at this stage, if not 4. And 15.5, 16.5.
Jesus Christ! All right.
What are you going to put in?
Then we have to take them. Then we have to take them
this week or next week.
Next week.
Yeah, well, I don't know, bro. If they mail it into Sharks, Broncos might destroy these cunts. I'm telling you, you go from having to contain Turbo, and then you have to go and contain Fanua Blake, and then Haas and Walsh come.
You're right. The lines are just wrong. We're taking a lot of favourites, and I agree, but literally...
Well, I wish we took more favourites in week 1.
No.
7 of them won.
The lines are still wrong. It's just ridiculous. There's only there's 2 games that I had as upset alert. One of them, it's purely for Matt. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
He already knows who I'm going to say.
I don't mind that either. We'll get there.
And the first one. And the other ones I don't think have a chance of winning this week.
I think Warriors can win.
Warriors can't win anything.
If Manly go and give up there, they can win.
Manly will not give up to anyone. Who do they play next week since you got it up?
Manly next week?
Yeah.
I feel like it's some losers.
It's Raiders, isn't it? Oh, my God.
What a fantastic segue into the end of Super Saturday.
I think the game of the round.
Game of the round, you'd say?
No, that's Sunday. First game on Sunday, for sure.
I think...
First game on Sunday.
Which is
Tigers and Tigers Para. I think
I'm extremely excited for Dogs Titans.
I don't think it's
because
game of the round.
I missed Titans last week.
I don't think it's game of the round.
Because we're at a stage where we know 11 teams suck and 5 are good. Titans is like, yeah, we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, but you're only liking it because you saw Khalees Haas starting.
that is part of the analysis. But moving forward to
the dirt
Saturday
of the sport.
night in Canberra, the Canberra Raiders return after their triumphant victory against the Wars, where they won by 22 points. Unfortunately, Tapani is suspended for his dog shot.
Who's playing front row? Is it Papali?
Papali and Smithies are playing front row, and some weirdo comes onto the
Where's Horsburgh?
I think he comes onto the bench, and some weirdo is playing lock for him. Savage is out, and Albert Hopewade is in as far as the winger goes. Broncos running out 1-17 that dismantled the dog shit out of Roosters. So, the Milk getting 12.5 points at home. Is there any little bit more appetite for you taking the points with these guys, knowing that, you know what, at least like of the loser teams, they actually dominated one of the other loser teams?
No, because Warriors are not even the loser team. They're the lowest team in the whole competition. So no, but we have to take Raiders. I feel like this is going to be the round. This is a huge prediction. Everyone is not going to be patient, in the sense of, other than the first game, I don't feel like there's anything to prove. Both teams just lost or just won. Like, there's nothing to prove. The second game, everyone's going to wait for the number and take Warriors, and they're going to get pumped. Everyone's going to wait the number on Roosters, and maybe they'll cover because the line will get to 24. We'll see. Everyone's going to be patient and take South at 8, and they're literally going to lose by 50. Everyone's going to be patient and take Cowboys at 10 if it gets to it and lose by 50. And then they'll get to the point and go, all right, Raiders are playing Broncos. Based on what I saw for round 2, lay it with Broncos and Raiders will cover.
Yeah. They'll lose
and
by
I
8.
feel like that's what's going to happen.
They'll lose by 8 or something.
And that's why I'm going to take Raiders. Not money line, because like I said, there's no one against the top 5. I'm taking money line. But at this moment in time, I would take the 12. Because I feel like that was 12 from ages ago. These other lines have moved as the days have been going. Realizing these guys suck. But Raiders, they were like, these guys suck, 12.
Yeah.
And
or these guys suck, 9. Oh, wow, Broncos are insane, 12.
Yeah. And like I feel like Raiders actually proved that they were okay. Yeah. And yeah, they're playing Warriors, but they're playing at home, which is a big difference. Brisbane are playing back-to-back road matches. And Brisbane really threw the ball around to beat Roosters. I don't think they can do that. Does it suck that not having Savage and Tarpany? Of course. But 12 points at the Milk, you're not going to get that often, to be honest. Against these loser teams, you're never going to get that. Maybe when they play Melbourne there, if they play Melbourne there, it's going to be 12 or Cronulla or Penrith.
At this point, the Milk are priced essentially to be as bad as Cowboys.
Yeah, and they're not.
Which, like we had just alluded to in the previous segment, that Cowboys would be 16. These guys are 12 at
yeah, it would be
the
16
Milk.
at Canberra.
Take 2 points away from home field, and if this was at Brisbane, these cunts would be 17 and a half.
Yeah.
I would take the Milk. I think like morale is high because they actually put a great performance in and dominated Warriors. 2, we've seen over the years that they have the ability to actually step up to better teams and give them a fight for their money. Going to Melbourne, losing by 10, beating Penrith, beating Roosters when they were actually front running and beating everyone last year. And Ricky Stewart, for all you want to say about him as a coach, he is capable of an ambush.
I don't think they can win, though.
Like you said, can these guys go and win?
Fuck no.
Fuck no. But you're getting 12.5 points.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Are Raiders capable of keeping this within 2 converted tries? I think they are.
Yeah.
Will this be like they can be down 4 with 10 minutes to go, Broncos score 1 to put them away, and the ref calls full time and they lose by 10?
Yeah.
I absolutely think so.
100%.
Maybe they're down 16 with 10 minutes to go and they just start fucking offloading like they did against Raiders and they score 1 and they backdoor cover. That's definitely capable.
All of that could happen.
I don't see Broncos just waltzing in there and blowing them out by 50 like they did to Roosters. And these guys are priced as if, like, if you didn't lay 7 against Roosters with Broncos last week, why the fuck would you then go and lay 12.5 this week? That makes no sense.
Well, I'm not. I'm not saying it's going to happen now because a lot of people bet on the day. It's going to happen with the progression of events. And everyone's going to be like, oh my God, Chris was right. Top 5's fucked. They're going to beat everyone.
Yeah.
And they beat everyone by 50, 50, 50. They're going to get to Broncos and be like, wow, Broncos beat Roosters by 50. What are they going to do to the Raiders? And Raiders will literally lose by 6.
Yes.
And Raiders are the better ones out of all these teams.
Yeah.
They're better than Cowboys. They're better than Warriors. They're better than South.
Roosters.
Better than Roosters. So why is this like one of the biggest lines outside of Roosters who are awful, but outside of Roosters, the biggest line out of all of them?
I agree with you. These guys should have the Warriors line, and Warriors should have the Raiders line.
Correct.
And same with Cowboys.
Yeah, and look, I think it's just the hype. Brisbane has dropped title odds to $6. Their Quinellas are like down on the floor. Melbourne and Brisbane to make the grand final is less than $10. And because of everything that happened last week, Manly did the same thing to, you could argue, a better team. And like, I don't see it. So take the milk and close your eyes, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like you said, I can't see the milk winning.
No, I'm not on that.
Will they?
The winners are coming.
Will they disgrace themselves and lose by 30 plus? Can't see that either.
Nah.
So I'm confident getting on 12.5. Can you see it pushing to like 14 on game day?
Yeah.
I think it might. So I would wait until the final hour and then take Raiders.
Oh, there's no Savage. Let's take Brisbane.
Yeah, as if anyone gives a dog piss about Savage.
I don't know.
Moving on to Super Saturday. What a fucking slate of 3 games. That's going to be great.
Those 3 games.
Especially for the pod. Like
huge Super Saturday.
Dragons, Souths, comical. Cowboys and Sharks, comical. And then I think Saturday night is actually like it's going to be a good contest.
Do I wish Titans were in there? Of course, but...
But you know what?
They have their own designated
It's coming, big time. So, moving on to Sunday, which you are calling this the game of the round, Chris.
Yeah.
The West Tigers. My West Tigers, who I'll throw into the wayside if they don't get a win soon.
My West Tigers.
It's your Parramatta Eels as well. You can't just throw them away, man.
Nah, I've thrown them away.
Will they quit on the air? That's my question. But
nah.
A little bit more hope coming in for the Parramatta Eels as far as player movement goes this week.
Who, Cartwright's back?
Cartwright is not back. Cartwright was out last week.
No, he's available. They didn't pick him. He doesn't want to do offloading.
For defensive reasons, right?
Yeah.
And they defended so much better without him. So, Para
Riles.
have returned Sean Lane into the back row early from his injury. And
Back row? He was playing prop a lot last year.
yeah,
Sure. He was a good back row.
Cal Toga comes onto the bench. That's
And
essentially
Tigers
their only-
have the big ins.
Oh, how could I forget also that Jordan Semrani is on the wing for Jake Tungo.
That's fine. That does
Which
shit.
is fine. The West Tigers, 3 big ins. Api Coruscant, welcome back, my friend. Jareem Balla, welcome back, my friend. See you later, Heath. I hope I don't see you in that Tigers jersey again.
Ball
and
back.
Benji apparently listens to the pod for you, and he's brought in Stafford Toa
Thank God.
and dropped Fatape.
Thank God.
Which
Stafford Toa.
you might see Taylor May in that jersey eventually. But for the
Hopefully.
time being, Chris.
I was going you want me to talk about Tigers?
Well, I'm wondering if you might sound the alarm for power.
No. But what I was going to say is if Taylor May starts for Tigers, you're going to hear a record rant that will become the funniest reel ever about Robbo because he literally lost Taylor May and lost Terrell May. Anyway, and they don't have any centers. Back to, obviously, I have to make a Roosters roast. All right. I can see a Tigers jersey like where I'm sitting. Show your stripes. It's time to show your stripes, you shit cunts. Win this game. Look. There is no reason for Parra to win at all. They lost their best half that's playing right now. They literally gave up in Melbourne. They have a 7-day turnaround, which is not going to be enough after what Melbourne did to them.
They need a 70-day turnaround.
70-day turnaround. Still no Moses. And Tigers, you are better than this team. And it's reflected, 3.5. Like, it makes sense. But it's not enough. I think Tigers, like... I'm going to go toward them one more time. And this is it. If they can't beat Para, then that's it. Like, all these signings, I'll be what you did on the review. Because there's no reason to lose to this Parramatta team at all.
I'm scared.
Look, it's possible. It's Tigers. I'm not denying the fact it's possible. Don't sit there and get it twisted. But if they do, they fuck.
I think for Para's sake, they're playing the one team this week that might give them a win.
Look, if Tigers give them a win, they literally could get the spoon.
Yeah.
There's no reason to lose to Para at all. Para have no reason to even go there and try.
Some of the boys I was talking to were saying that Para without Moses are the wooden spooners. Like, if you were to tell me, hypothetically, Moses tore his ACL, right? For the entire season, do you think Parra will get the spoon?
No. I don't think they will.
I didn't either.
But look, truly...
They looked fucking horrible last
Truly,
week.
if Moses didn't play the whole year, they still wouldn't come last. And I think the bookies have shown that they will. But this Brown news, I'm going to flip it the other way. Yeah, they could give up. But they lost Gutherson. Now they've lost Brown 2 games in. They know at this point the future is through Moses. And whoever else is left by the end of this selling spree. Because all of their places are now, except for maybe Lomax, maybe Alungi, maybe some of the forwards, all their places is up for grabs. Para have the most cap out of any team in the comp right now. Maybe Roosters, because they signed Robson. Nothing. It's literally Parramatta. They have maybe over $2 million in cap. So every single position is up for grabs. From hooker to fullback to center to front row, you guys need to now play that you actually want to stay in the NRL. Because if you guys just go out there and quick, no one is going to sign you outside of Parramatta. No other club will sign you. Maybe Junior Paulo. Maybe, I don't know, someone will sign Sean Russell for reserves. But what I'm saying is this team needs to prove that, all right, Brown's gone. He made a decision. He went and got the bag. I'm sure he literally went to the locker room and guys, they're giving me 13 mil, 10 years. I have to take it. They're like, yeah, all right. I would take it too. So, in my opinion, this whole team is literally on the benchmark of Riles is going to be the coach at least for the rest of this year, no matter how bad he does, because they wanted him in so much. Moses is going to come back. He's 100% going to have the 7 jersey. Every other jersey is up for grabs. Play your best. And I don't think it'll be this week because Tigers are just simply more talented than them. But throughout a whole season, I think Parramatta won't come last simply because of that. But this week, they're going to lose.
Tigers are scaring me.
They're shit, I know. But they're not going to come. They're going to win this game.
Because this is I reflect on my take in the review pod of me nuking Tigers. And I feel like part of that was in anticipation that they're also going to fuck this game.
Yeah, well, look, you can scream at them as much as they want. So will I if they lose to Parramatta. But I don't think they will.
Because Para now, after winning the second half, think that they have hope.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
When they look across from themselves on the field come Sunday, they're going to see, oh, you know what? This is a team that's actually somewhat comparable to us. We're not staring down a fucking... seeing Munster, Hughes, Grant, Pappenhausen, and all these cunts, right? They're also going to see Polle and Seyfarth and be like, oh, you know what? We're not in Melbourne. We have a chance.
Yeah,
right?
I get that.
And this is in Bank West.
Yeah, I get it.
So, I really wish Para went and lost by 10 last week, not by 50. That actually is annoying me more. Because Tigers now think oh, fuck, we only lost by 2, We're all good. We're on the track.
I think Benji would have been like, well, you guys can't score. Simple. Knights gave you every chance and you fucked it up, right?
That's the thing, right? Knights gave them so many chances and these guys didn't even come close.
So, but Parramatta will give you...
So they're so bad.
And look, what scares me is the 1 to 7, they look good.
Literally with Carousel, Power will lose the middle to Tigers.
And 1 to 7, they look really good.
Tigers?
Yeah, they look really good. I rate Stafford Toa.
Yeah, so, I know you like him.
I think 1 to 7, they look great. And this is truly round 1 for Tigers. I didn't know Buller was out. I think if Buller played, they would have won. That's my opinion. Obviously,
Heath is terrible.
Heath's terrible. I think with Buller, they would have won no matter what last week. So I think Buller and Coruscant coming back. There's nothing in that Para team that, in my opinion, can they keep it close? Yeah, they might lose by 8, 10. But
wow.
I think Tigers...
You think the best Para can do is lose by 10 to Tigers?
Tigers are good.
Fuck me.
I think you're just so off them from last week. I think they're still good. And they lost one game. I put them in the same boat as Dolphins. Watch out. These guys will go on a run. And
Tigers?
Yeah.
I think they'll go on a losing run.
They could. Look, it's a similar case to Dolphins. If Dolphins lose, you could be like, all right, their 8 chances are out the window. And same with Tigers. But I think, look, out of all these bums, there's not going to be a lot of teams that you can sit there and be like, I'm going to take the negative and be confident about it. There's no way. For the whole year, Because when you play each other, you want to feel it in your body to take the points because you know these teams can fuck it up.
Exactly, yeah.
But not in this game. And I think this game is going to...
So you're essentially arguing that you think Tigers are, as currently, like who's running out on the weekend, they're head and shoulders better than Para.
Listen, no one's head and shoulders above everyone from 6 down, first of all. But second of all, 7th and 8th is like... Literally, they're all playing back. You don't know who's going to come 7th and 8th. I think it's the biggest coin toss. And based on the performance from Cowboys and Roosters and Warriors, you could argue, one of them was worse than the other. So they don't want the spot either. They're all in tatters. Like, who's going to get it? It's Raiders, maybe Tigers if they win this week, maybe Dolphins if they win this week, Knights definitely if they win this week. There's not many teams that are there. So, look, can Para obviously turn it around, but... Look, if Para was with Moses, there was no way I'm going to bet against them. But without Moses, I think this Tigers team's just too talented. They're going to win this game.
Okay, a couple of things that worry me. One, Tigers are now expected to win because these
Never
guys got raped by Melbourne.
But you're going to have to get used to it because they're going to be favourites against a lot of teams.
I know. Two, I think Para's forwards actually match up with the Tigers ones pretty decently.
Yeah.
Because as garbage as they
Carousel.
were, they still have Hopgood, they still have Paulo. Lane's proved that he's a pretty good player.
They have Carousel.
They're all right. The Tigers, they can be had.
Yeah, they can.
And the only thing giving me hope is Knights, for as retarded as Knights are, of the 11 question mark teams, I feel like their goal line D is probably the best out of all of them. Right? Last year when they played...
Titans.
Last year... Don't talk to me about Titans. Goal line D. Last year, when they played Dolphins... in a win and go in, they held them essentially to 0 for like 60 minutes of the game, right? So, if you're going to give... We know Para's defense is fucking non-existent, right? So, if you're going to argue what I'm saying is, Tigers, without Bulla and Coruscant, only scored 1 last week, but I think the Knights D is pretty good compared to all the other retarded teams. I know the Para one is pitiful, and Coruscant and Bulla, I don't know like what that's worth in terms of scoring points, but it's probably like 2 of the most significant pieces for a team in the entire league.
Literally, they're worth 6 points in the point spread.
Yeah, definitely. Coruscant is probably worth like 4.
And Bulla's worth 2.
Yeah.
Look, because you're replacing
them with dirt, right?
And that's the problem, right? You're replacing him with dirt, and so is Para. Volkman is not good. So, and look, listen, Riles, I get it. You're trying to ease him in. Just after this week, just start Riley Smith. He's 10 times better than Hands.
Yeah, agreed.
Come on. And look, he could be the future. You don't know. Riley Smith could be the lock at number 9. We don't know.
I will say this.
This team is just up in the air right now.
Whoever loses this game...
Last. No, I don't think Para comes last.
I don't think Tigers will either, but...
Literally, we said it in the preview, it's going to be a quitter. They're literally going to give up.
Yeah, it's one of the 3.
It's one
Cowboys,
of the 3.
Warriors, or Roosters.
I know. They're just
If Roosters don't cover this week, they will seriously get it.
Yeah.
But as far as this game goes...
All South.
Wow. Whoever loses this game is in a really bad shape.
I think they're out of the 8, for sure.
Is in a really bad shape. I think Para's already out of the 8 because of the Moses injury. Like, they were already teetering.
They could go on a run, though.
They were already teetering, and now 6 weeks without him, they're lucky to be 1-5.
Yeah.
So that, unfortunately for Para fans, kind of like fucked their whole season. And then going to Melbourne week 1, like...
Doesn't help,
right? But Tigers, if you guys then go and lose to Para... You're no better than Para. And Para
no, you're worse than Para.
Yeah, you're worse than Para.
At least Para showed a good performance in week 1 at second half.
Yeah.
And they beat you guys. You're Para better than you. Without Moses, which is insane.
But yeah, Tigers, really, I'll fucking nuke you cunts.
Come on, Tigers.
You better
Show
win.
us what you're made of. Show us your tricks.
All right, now I got a big job. Because so far it's been ins and outs, but now I got to go 1 to 17 because no one actually knows who's playing for these guys because they had a bye last week.
We know. I know.
The Titans line up.
I want to say, Melbourne, I hope you guys having a good time resting your feet up, ready for next week.
Yes.
Good luck.
The Dogs are mostly unchanged, but Curran is back from his suspension.
Where is he playing?
So Harry Hayes of War for you is taking the week off, and Curran is on the bench.
How can you drop Harry Hayes?
The greatest
cult hero.
The Titans are running out. Keanu Kinney, Khan Pereira, Brian Kelly, Philisami, Jojo Fafita.
Same morons.
AJ Brimson, a.k.a. Manu, Jaden Campbell, Fodawaka Verrills, Reg, He's new. Any comments? They got a brand new player.
Keep going.
Cleese Haas. Firma. Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, he's on the bench.
Farsuma Aoi.
He's on the bench, I know.
Chris Randall, David Fafita, Jamin Jolliffe, and Brock Gray. So, first of all, why the hell is David Fafita on the bench?
For
Second of all,
purposes.
9.5. Okay, so essentially the books have said...
9?
Yeah. It's at Belmore, man.
Who's this Manly?
So, essentially the books are saying Titans, you guys are just as big a bird as everybody else. Is that accurate, sir?
No. And Titans... Sorry, I'll shout out Matt and shout out Chris Creas. Titans, shout out Clarkey if you watch this, which you won't, but I'm going to give your team a rap. You have the advantage over Dogs in one, Peter, in a position, the middle of the park.
Yeah.
And simply because you can't teach mass. They're so huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
Reg, Fonaweka, and Tino, and David coming off the bench. It's Goliaths everywhere.
Yes.
And Kurt Mann's going to tackle up? Come on, bro. Like, look, and you're not even, like, this would be a case if they played. I remember this was a case against a team and they lost to them. It was Manly, probably. They're just too big for them, right? You're not even getting a case that's at Pickham. You're getting 9 points. Titans have the bigger pack. They're just bigger than them. You can't do anything about it. If there's size, Dogs will work harder, but if you have to throw one more body in a tackle because they're bigger than you, you're literally going to get more tired than Titans.
But,
Wait.
devil's advocate, isn't that applicable to basically most teams that play Dogs anyway?
Not to this size.
Okay, fair enough.
I think, like, the Dragons don't have this size.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not even close. So I don't think there's not many teams that have this size that can just do this sort of thing. Maybe Brisbane, because they have Haas and Carrigan, and maybe Melbourne.
Sharks.
Melbourne Sharks. Well, they have Fanil Blake, so they're just another level. And Manly are not even at this size. This size of this team is insane. And can they get a roll on Dogs? I don't think it will be easy, but there will be patches in the game. And I said this early in the preview. I said this in round 1 as well, but the line just got too short, right? So I couldn't not take Dogs. Dogs will start slow, and I think they started well because they looked good against Dragons. I don't think it's going to be the case against Titans, because in the Titans scenario, now they're really expected to win. Dragons was like, if they lost that, everyone would be like, oh, Dragons is just a good team, right? But now if you lose
baffles me, really.
But now if you lose to Titans, everyone's going to be like, what are you guys doing? Dogs are expected to win. They should win convincingly in this game, but I don't think they will. I think Dogs will win this. There is a possibility they could lose. They're not the strength of the top 5 at all. They could lose this game by 2. They could win this game by 2, but it's going to be really close. It's not actually an afternoon game at Belmore. They're playing this game at 6, which means it's not the dynamic you can kind of feel. And Titans throwing the footy around in a bit, not as hot weather. It's still going to be like 30-something degrees. I think it's 36 in Sydney on Sunday.
Wow.
And if it's still 30 at 6 p.m., that just plays to the Titans' strength. They love the heat. They love, running around the heat, throwing the footy around. That's all they fucking do. So, in my opinion, if this gets to 10, absolutely slam it. I think this is the bet of the round.
I think Titans are going to win. Truly.
All right, well...
These motherfuckers are getting 10.5. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. They're not
All you guys cowered at the side of Dragons at 2.5. Yeah. And now you're just like, oh, yeah, Dogs minus 9.5. Yeah, they'll smash Titans. Who are Titans? Who are Titans to be compared to Dragons? They're nothing. Where, if Dragons played Titans tomorrow...
Titans would be favourite.
And everyone would take Titans.
No, actually, Dragons would be favourite based on the lines.
Yeah, no. Okay, even better.
It would be Pickham and Broncos.
Tomorrow, Dragons and Titans are playing, and Titans are $2. You're not telling me the entire country would take them?
100%.
They'll be like, Dragons, they're not... Well, these guys have Tino and David Fafita. Why don't we just take them real quick? And now, after taking Dragons at 2.5, watching them give up, now you're just penciling Dogs in. Yeah, they'll win by double digits. It's at Belmore, when they literally couldn't even beat Raiders by more than 6 last year. So I'm not poo-pooing Dogs. Like I said, I was all over him last week. I think
Kiraz isn't playing, is he?
No.
Wow. Yeah. What would have this been with 12?
10. Yeah, 10, 11.
Jesus.
So essentially, I'm not saying Dogs aren't the better team. Dogs are, but at the price, if this was 6, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. Or 5, I'd be like, okay, that's probably fair. But Titans, can Dogs stop Titans from getting like 18 points, 20 points? I don't think so. These guys will, in 30-degree heat, they will throw the footy around and score some garbage.
Oh yeah, the Para game also over.
If you're
100%.
If this gets double digits, I'm putting Titans under duress. Fuck this shit. 10.5. Are you joking?
For them, week 1.
For them, in their first inaugural game, with Des
Truly,
at the
it's
helm.
going to be comedy.
Hilariously, this was the game that last year
they got hammered.
Was 2.5, and we were like, Titans are dirt. Come on, Dogs. And they won 28-0. This was the fixture Tino tore his ACL. This was the game that Titans put the bomb up in the second minute, Foran caught it, and instead of putting it on the try line, he threw it at Brimson, and then they gave up from there. So I think Titans of War are coming to play on Sunday. These cunts might win. I'm not saying definitely they'll win. If it was upset alert, would I take them over Dolphins? At the price, maybe. Dogs are better than them. I'm not disputing anything of that. I'm just saying the line's wrong. If this gets double digits, which it's pushing that way in most books, under duress, week 2, give me the Gold Coast Titans, plus 9.5. You guys have a lot to prove. All I heard in the offseason was, look at this forward pack. It's the greatest assemblance of forwards I've ever seen in my life. Barnesy is fucking all over them to make the edge. Shout out to you. If you guys are gods, then I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that you can go to Belmore on your first game and upset the apple cart and get a win. Like we said earlier, Raiders aren't winning. Cowboys probably aren't winning. Warriors can't even score. Souths are going to lose by 50.
Roosters aren't going to win.
Roosters are not winning either.
So it's the first or last game.
So it's either Dolphins, Para, or Titans in my eye. And I think Titans genuinely can go out and win. Plus 10.5. Let's go. I'm going for 2 in a row, baby.
Good luck, mate. Like I said, I think it's the line of the year. So far, I think this 10 is way too many. And Dogs didn't even cover 10 against Dragons.
Yeah.
And this, like...
I put Titans like much higher than Dragons.
I'll put them above Dragons.
Personally. If they played on a neutral, I would probably have Titans 5.5 to Dragons.
Whoa. Yeah. All right. I was going to say 3, but sure.
I think Dragons are pretty bad.
I like Dragons, so maybe not. Mazarafos brothers, you can comment on that. But I think like Titans, 10 is a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro.
They're not that bad.
Wake up.
I agree.
If they lose by more than 10, I'll actually laugh. It'll be the same old garbage Titans. Moving forward, so that's the end of the preview as far as the individual game goes. I want your 3 key indicators of what you're looking forward to most in this slate.
Well,
storylines, spreads, whatever you want to attach.
All right. Okay, Dolphins, prove yourselves. There is enough to say. For me, last week was, one blip in the radar, but there's no reason to lose to Knights. I think Knights are dirt, so there should be a victory there, and then you get to go home and play another dirt side. I think you play Dragons or some shit. So this is a huge win, and you guys will go in the right direction and basically follow my 8. So I think that's what I want to see. Friday, I don't see much. I think I'll leave Roosters to you because I don't have much to say. I've already said what I needed to say. Saturday, truly GOAT. All right, I'm gonna talk about Sharks. You guys would be my under duress if there was a thing. There's no reason to go there and even give them hope. You should annihilate them by at least 12, if not more, and prove that you are part of this 5 teams, which are just a cut above everyone else. So I think that would be my second. And my last one, I said enough on Sunday, but whatever. Show your fucking stripes, Tigers. You guys have to win this game. Even if you win by 1, I will not be upset. Obviously, we might be on the spread, but I think Premium actually has already got it head-to-head. Yeah, Premium's already got it on head-to-head. All good. But if you win by, as long as you get the 2 points, you'll prove to me, all right, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like you guys are going to absolutely kill them. Even though I think you'll win by 10, I know it's probably going to be tight most of the game and maybe get a late try. But Tigers, you have to beat Parramatta.
Fair enough. I like that, mate. So my 3, I'm going to say number 1, Roosters.
Wake up.
The most pressure of any side in the round, not to get a win because you're already penciled in. As far as I'm concerned, there should be 2 losses next to their name on the ladder already.
I reckon if you're in the last man standing competition, you shouldn't be allowed to pick Penrith.
I agree, yeah. It's too easy.
Yeah.
But what you should be able to do, Roosters, is not go and lose by 4 converted tries. So
you can.
I'm going to say anything more than a 20-point loss to Penrith, you guys should fucking kill yourselves. That's number one.
What's going to happen? Are you going to start burning it again?
Yeah, I'll set it on fire.
All right.
And I won't blow it out this time either. I'm fuck that shit. Fuck this team. You're already 21-point dogs in week 1. That's insane to me. Number 2, Dragons. I'm calling you cunts out.
Why?
If you guys give Souths a win, if you guys give the Myers-led Souths a win, then that confirms to me that Dragons are live for the spoon as well.
All right.
Because that's despicable.
Fair enough. But you just want Dragons to win.
No, I'm not saying you have to cover, but you can't lose to South.
All right, that's fine.
Got nothing to do with Cowboys. I know they suck.
Raiders? Nah.
Raiders, you guys already
It's
did
got to
your
be
job.
Sunday. Titans.
Sunday Titans, yes. We know there's 5 great teams, and Dogs with an asterisk are pretty good. We know 10 of the teams suck ass. We don't know about you guys yet because we haven't seen. So will you be...
Another team.
Will you shock the whole world and enter that conversation as a... Maybe your forward pack is that dominant, your outside backs are so talented, and your spine plays above their head, and you can actually go to a point where you are head and shoulders above the losers. Will you be better than the losers but not as good as the 5? We'll put you on a tier with Dogs. Or are you just another team of losers that we could put with the other 10? That's what I'm probably most excited to learn this round, in round 2 of the NRL. Thank you for doing this pod with me, my friend. Thank you for tuning in with us, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have my power rankings out tomorrow, and I'll chat to you boys come the review come Sunday. Let us know in the comments what you're looking forward to most. If you agree with my under duress of Titans, I'm getting 10.5 because I know it's going to close at that. And your upset alert on the mighty Dolphins. Fins up.
You don't plug who's going to be last in the power rankings? You don't want to apologize to them in advance?
It's going to be a surprise. No one will know it.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. Chat to you all later.
Peace.
Peace out.